A live look right now in downtown Nashville, where the race for governor taking a major turn. We're learning this. The Republican U.S. Senator from Tennessee, Marsha Blackburn, officially jumping into the governor's race, announcing her campaign with a sweeping promise to fight for Tennessee values. She says she wants to keep the state leading on conservative causes. More on that in a moment. Thanks so much for tuning in to the third hour of National Report. I'm Sean Kreisman.
And I'm Emma Reckenberg. We've got special guests with us here on set who we'll talk to in just a bit. Marsha Blackburn has been known as a staunch Trump ally and well-known voice both on Capitol Hill and in her home state. She says it's time to bring new leadership to the State House. The two-term senator and former congresswoman is positioning herself as the candidate to continue Tennessee's conservative momentum, focusing on border security, economic growth, and protecting Tennessee values.
I love Tennessee. I believe in Tennesseans, and I'm ready to deliver the kind of conservative leadership that will ensure our state is America's conservative leader for this generation and the next.
There it is. So this setting up a high-profile Republican primary battle with Blackburn's national profile in the Senate. Trump endorsement history there likely to play a major role. She'll be making the case that her experience fighting the Biden agenda in Washington makes her the right choice to lead Tennessee. And with that, I'd like to welcome in Bryan Leib, Newsmax contributor, CEO of Henry Public Relations. Frank Morano is here, Republican New York City Councilman. Councilman, I'll start with you on this. Not necessarily any surprise to this, but what do you make from Senator Marsha Blackburn going from her U.S. Senate seat to this gubernatorial race in Tennessee? And then how strong of a shot does she have? If she pulls this off, too, another accolade, she would be the first woman to hold that role in Tennessee.
Well, I think she is very formidable. I think given her history with Trump, I think given the fact that she's already won statewide office in the district, she seems very popular among rank-and-file Tennesseans. She's shown an ability to win statewide and raise money statewide. I think she's definitely going to win, and then I think she'd be in a position to actually appoint her successor potentially in the U.S. Senate, which would certainly be pretty interesting. You know, obviously the Senate has gone through some interesting leadership changes post-Mitch McConnell, and I get the sense that maybe Marsha Blackburn wants something that's not part of a body of 100 where it takes 60 votes to do almost anything, and she wants to be able to do some things on her own and maybe not make that commute to the Beltway swamp so often.
I was going to stay home, right? That always sounds nice. She's been very vocal MAGA supporter, Bryan, and she's joined us here on National Report. Do you think she's looking for that Trump endorsement?
Of course she's looking for that endorsement, and she certainly has been a very steady supporter of President Trump. And I think to Frank's point, the Senate has changed. I mean, you know, we're looking at what's happening in the Senate right now, where they're having a tough time advancing President Trump's nominees. And, you know, for someone like Marsha Blackburn, who is, you know, a staunch supporter of the president, wanting to push these through, it's probably very easy to get frustrated. I will make one other note about this, about the Tennessee thing. Don't forget, there were some reports a couple days ago that potentially the Secretary of Defense was looking at this. So Marsha coming out with this announcement now, you got to wonder, is it maybe kind of trying to get ahead of that a little bit? So time will tell.
It is, yeah. It's still early. That's a fair point about learning about new candidates. We just talked about Nancy Mace jumping in the field, the Congresswoman from South Carolina. Now she's running for governor in the Palmetto State. So we just learned about Senator Blackburn this morning. I think about Senator Rick Scott, though, in this moment. He was governor of Florida, then he moved into the Senate seat, and it's kind of going backwards a little bit in terms of what you would typically see. Either way, we'll continue to cover that gentleman's statement.
The big difference with Florida, though, is with term limits for governor, Rick Scott had nowhere else to go. He was going to be out as governor anyway.
Good point. Yeah.
He needed to go somewhere.
Fair point.